What's up, y'all? Back at it once again. The Coach Gear Fun Day, kicking it for you and for yours. You know what I'm saying? Doing it real big, doing what we do. And before I get started, I give a shout out to my ancestors, you know, for giving me the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And I give a shout out to y'all, the people that been watching the listenership, doing what it do. Now, this one right here, as you see, I got one of my old videos, and it says the 12 people, the first people in Ireland. And I got a lot of flack for this video. You know what I'm saying? You see, it's been over a year old. In 2020, excuse me. See, it's over a year old. And then we're gonna go down and look at some of the comments. You know what I'm saying? Real quick. Let's see some of the disses. You know what I'm saying? Because some of these people that got mad. If I can ever get to it. Because they don't understand that this is real history. So there's no thing about it. Da 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 da. Whoopty whoop. As an Irish person, I find this extremely offensive. There's no truth to what you're saying at all. Several of my ancestors fought for my country's freedom from England. Our country was occupied by England for over 800 years, and many of us were deliberately killed or starved to death. And you're not even from Ireland, and you're talking about my country like this. Have some respect, thanks. Okay. Right here, Carson C. This came a day ago. Let's see. This came a day ago. Let's see what this says. 11 minutes and 57 seconds video of utter inaccuracies and nonsense. Is there anything Afrocentrists won't try to steal? Okay. Here goes another guy. He been bothering me for months. Grandmaster Funk. You're doing a disservice to Irish and African people. Hot damn. Shit. Super cool on me, I guess. You know what I'm saying? So this is the kind of stuff I got to deal with, when you drop videos and stuff. Which I ain't tripping about that. That's just part of the game, whoop-de-whoop. But let's see how wrong these people really are. Because, like I said, this is really, really common knowledge about this, about, the Pygmies being in Europe. Supreme, super dumb common knowledge, But I brought up DNA from other people, you know what I'm saying, from there that show that stuff. But they're trying to say that, the 12 people in Black Europe, because Europe was Black, remember it's named after an African princess, a Phoenician princess, you know what I'm saying? And we can argue all day about that too if you want to, but Africa really don't end. Israel's part of Africa. Where modern day Israel at today is part of Africa, or Palestine. So that's where the Phoenicians were at around that area. So, hey, you can't help, hey, deal with it. But let me go to my next point. Now, this right here, as you see, where I'm pointing at the arrow, Pygmies in Europe. This is an article journal, okay, by J. Kollmann, right? And this is from the Journal of the Anthropological Institute of Great Britain and Ireland, okay? So this ain't me saying it. I'm just not going out here just saying this, this stuff like this is false history or nothing like that. There's journals written. There's a whole bunch of journals written about Black Pygmies in Europe. Just because they ain't talking about today, but back then, yeah, they knew about what was going on. And oh yeah, I want to make sure y'all understand they're not DNA testing these bones. These bones are somewhere deep down in the basement, chilling, you know what I'm saying? Way, way in the back, just like in the Smithsonian, for instance, if you live in the United States, or if you live in Australia or New Zealand, they got them bones way deep, deep down somewhere, you know what I'm saying, one of them archaeological societies. Now, once again, I'm going to say it again, I title it, this is Pygmies in Europe by J. Kollmann. And this is from the Journal of Anthropological Institute of Great Britain and Ireland, published by the Royal Anthropological Institute of Great Britain and Ireland. All right. So, you got beef with that. This is from y'all peoples, you know what I'm saying? You got beef with that, beef with them. Because, I'm getting tired of these cats, they don't want to accept it, it is what it is. But let's see what the article has to say. Let's just go ahead and read through this article. Pygmies in Europe by Professor Kollmann, right? Near Swaffenhausen, Switzerland, A settlement has been found which inhabited during the three prehistoric periods, listed the Paleolithic and the Neolithic and the Mesolithic. The different periods were distinctly separated from one another by each stratum being differently colored. I wonder what they mean by differently colored, sidebar. Let's see. The Paleolithic stratum contained a large amount of broken bones, mostly of the reindeer, and a lesser number of those of horses and Arctic fox, the bear, and other animals, but no bones of human beings, only work flakes. This stratum was covered by a great layer of basium, 80 centimeters in thickness, containing angular fragments of calcareous rocks close by. As this layer contained no trace of human industry, for which it may be inferred that long period, a number of centuries, probably intervened before another human race again settled at Schweizerville. The next stratum contained articles characteristic of the so-called Neolithic period in the history of mankind. The art of making poetry and cooking had by this time been introduced, as is proven by the potsherds being found on the settlement, as well as a great quantity of ashes, which gave a great ting to the stratum. The animals which supplied the food for these new human beings were also different from the species of the former time. Reindeer existed no longer in this latitude, but instead of it we find the stag, the roe, the black bear, the moor ox, and other animals. This Neolithic stratum has an average thickness of 40 centimeters. It is finally covered by a layer of humus of 40 to 50 centimeters thick. During this foundation of the last stratum, man ceased to settle for any length of time under the shelter over overhanging rocks here placed in a semicircle for protection against the northerly and northeasterly winds. The implements found in this stratum were few in number and of the inferior kind. Therefore, the so-called Metallic period need not to be further alluded to. Very different in the point of the Neolithic period. In a stratum formed during this time, many human beings were buried, adults as well as children. Dr. Nish, from the College of Swaffenhausen, who discovered and explored the settlement with utmost care, found 20 remnants in this stratum. After due examination of the remains, I find among those inferred 11 children, from newborn up to the age of 7 years. Some of them, buried with particular care, had been surrounded with stones and still wearing a scapular necklace. Among the adults were found 1. A skeletal remains of a normal-sized person of the usual European type, such as represented the actual population down to the present day. Okay? Sidebar. So the first thing they wanted to develop among the adults they found was a skeletal remains of a normal-sized person of the European type, which represents the European population of the day, which is, Caucasian. 2. Portions of a skeleton of small human beings, which consider of all accounts we possess about the pygmies of other continents, must be regarded as pygmies of the Neolithic period of Europe. Let me read that again. Number 2. So they found 2 different types of adults. They found one was a white European, and the second one they found was a skeleton was a small human beings, plural, beings being plural, which must be considered of all accounts we possess about the pygmies of other continents and must be regarded as pygmies of the Neolithic period of Europe. The remains of these 2 very different types were found lying side by side in a Neolithic stratum and show no perceptible difference in the matter of their burial. From this, we may conclude that the people lived together in peaceful harmony, notwithstanding their great difference of race. So the pygmy, they're not saying it was a European pygmy. They're saying it was a black pygmy. We're gonna get more into that. The remains of the 4 full-grown pygmies were anatomically evident. Probably there was another of these little individuals buried in tomb number 9, but the proof are not sufficiently clear to make us sure of the fact. The statue was ascertained according to the methods indicated by Murrah and Rollet from the length of the femur. Though the result of both these methods are somewhat uncertain in the sequence are the consequence of the variation arising from the individuality, sex, and race differences, which may amount to as much as 70 mm. Still, they are capable and enable us to prove to the certainty of the diminished size of these pygmies in comparison with the full-size races. According to the measurement of our method, I get the following results. Statue of number 1, 1,416 millimeters, mm. Statue of number 12, 1,355 mm. Statue of number 14, 1,500 mm. According to Mr. Saracen, the medium stature of the Valdez of Ceylon is 1,575 mm, while the average stature of these 3 European pygmies is 1,424 mm. So they are shorter and even than the Valdez by 100 to 150 mm or more. Although these results of the comparison measurements exclude every possibility of error, we still had another opportunity of proving the existence of pygmies as Swanson built. M. Mazagana very kindly granted me permission to examine the skeleton of an amateur island in the Anthropological Museum of Florence. Sidebar, if you don't know who the Pygmies are black people that live in the Bay of Bengal. You know, they've been there for eons. The Pygmies being one of the varieties of pygmies. So they said the Pygmies were pygmies, they damn self. M. Regali kindly assisted me in the measurements of the femur length of the skeleton, which is 424 mm. The femur length of the Schweitzer-Bell skeleton is as follows. Number 2, 398 mm, 12, 355 mm, and 14, 393 mm. Right here, this figure right here says, the skull of the Pygmies of Sicily and a tall man of Europe. So the Pygmies went all over Europe, as we're going to find out more in this video, not just Ireland. It was all over the world. But in this case, we're talking to these Europeans, these Caucasian Europeans that, think they ran Europe from some, no, you didn't. Europe is not even, Europe really is a black land, but we get more into that later on. Henceforth the name Europa, who was an African princess, a Phoenician princess, you want to break it down more. And as you said, Palestine, or what today is known as the misnomer Israel, is in Africa. The statue of the Amman is 150 centimeters, 150,000 centimeters. All right, 1,500 mm. It is therefore this island with a femur length of more than 400 mm is a stature of only 1,500 mm. The pygmy with the femoral length is less than 400 mm must have surely been very low stature. Farr has had the opportunity to examine 29 skeletons of the native Armoured Islands. The average length of the femur is 398.7 to 393.4 in the males, and in the females, 378 to 380.4. The average height of the males calculated from 25 femorals is 1,431 or 4 feet 8 inches. In the case of the females, the height is 1,383 mm or 4 feet 6 inches. From these figures of the lemur length, it may be seen my estimate of the height of European pygmies during the middle Neolithic period is not understated, but most liberally calculated. Now here's a calculator right here. As you said, it says right here, the pygmy race of Sicily. All right. I'm just doing Sicily, but it was all over Europe. In Ireland too. For all you Irish out there that might get all upset about that. Yes, they was there too. You know what I'm saying? Let's just stop playing the game. The tables contain the measurement of the skull of the average European and those of a skull of a Sicilian pygmy, for the use of which I have to thank Professor Sergey, figure 2 and figure 3, which is hold the skulls. The difference is remarkable between the absolute figure. Thus, the large skull has a capacity brought of 1,460 cc. The pygmy skull is only 1,031 cc. The former is 191 mm long, and the latter is only 142 mm. Further details I refer to my paper, which has appeared in the Zachary, I don't speak German, in Berlin in 1894. Like I said, these bones still exist. They know what it is. Just because they ain't teaching in your schools, are you just too lazy to look up this stuff about the history? Because you go farther back, like I said, like the man said, Dr. Barashenko told us, you know what I mean, and said the deeper farther they go back, the blacker the history get. You know, so where are you from? You can't claim Europe. Not to me. As the remains of the adult males of the taller races found in 7 tombs, I found the length of the femur from the tomb number 5, and it measured 452 mm, which gives it a stature of 1662 mm, the normal stature of the taller European races. I found several portions of other skeletons from the Neolithic stratum referable to some more individuals of the taller race, but was unable to satisfactory measurements of them owing to their imperfect state. The results of this examination proved that pygmies have lived at one time at Schwarzschild. They must not be considered as pathologic degenerate people, since Professor R. Kritzkram states expressly that their bones are of normal structure. Consequently, we find a miniature type of man with distinct anatomical characters, which differs as much from the taller size varieties of mankind as do the pygmies of Asia, Africa, and the Asiatic archipelago. The discovery of the Schwarzschild of a contemporary existence of the pygmy, normal size and type during the Neolithic period being unique, would have certainly been looked upon with some incredulity. But while I was engaged in the examination of this settlement, Sergei, assisted by Dr. Manam, discovered some living pygmies in Sicily and Sardinia. Okay, so back in 1894 and 95, they found some living pygmies still living in Sardinia. Sergei also had a fine collection of skulls of these pygmies, in which the cranial capacity is 400 to 500 cc's lower than that of the taller European races. The pygmies in Sicily are very small in stature, being generally under 1500 mm. Small people are not only met with in Sicily and Sardinia, with those where in several districts they form 14% of the population, but all through Italy, according to Sergei, who quotes from their enlistment for the army. He believes them to exist also in Russia, as he found some very small skulls and a cranial collection there, similar to those in Sicily. So they saying they found the pygmy skulls up in Russia. Just like Herodotus when he said he found Egyptians up in the southern Russia, Caucasus Mountains. He called them Caucasians because they did the same things the Egyptians do and looked like the same things the Egyptians did. And when he described it, he wasn't describing no European, nor was he describing today what it looked like today an Arab. He was describing a black person, you know, from the islands, the Caribbean, from Africa, places like that. As regards to the appearance of these living pygmies in Sicily, they seem to have the looks of miniature Europeans. For further in particular, I refer to Sergei's memoirs on the subject. As for myself, I point particularly to the wish to impress that the normal varieties of man in Europe must be added to smaller types which have their own special place in the anthropological system. These latter are not simply diminutive examples of a tall race, but is a distinct species of mankind, which is found in several locations dispersed over the globe. We are led to believe that these small varieties have been the predecessors of the now predominant types of full-fledged humanity. To prove this argument to its full extent and to the task of anatomical science, I beg to direct a special attention to the anatomists and those of diminutive individuals wherever an opportunity may occur to examine them. So there we go. There we have it. But that's just one part, because I'm not through criticizing that ass shit. Because y'all done really made me mad to the highest level of festivity on this one. A couple of y'all done made me mad. You know what I'm saying? But that's from y'all people. They say they different races the whole nine. I'm going to cite just one more time. This is Pygmies in Europe by J. Kollmann, and this is from the Journal of the Anthropological Institute of Great Britain and Ireland, and it's published by them themselves. But let's get deeper. I want to get deeper into that. I want to make sure this is ended. This is squashed. Oh, still on? I didn't know I was still on. I thought I paused it. My bad. Okay, now this is another one right here. This is the faith. This book right here is called The Fairy Faith in Celtic Countries. Because that's what Irish claim to be. They claim to be Celtics. You know, here, there, what it is, what it is. All right. And this is from, what's my man's name? Walter Yeeling Evans. All right. Let's see what he's talking about. Let's see what he's talking about. There's also the Pygmies in Europe. Various scholarly champions of the pygmy theory have attempted to explain this smallness of fairies by means of a hypothesis that the belief in such fairies is due wholly to a folk memory of a small stature pre-Celtic race. And we're gonna skip that part right quick. But this part we're gonna start right here, where this little hand is at. We cannot here attempt to present or even outline all the complexity of the anthropological arguments for and against the existence of a prehistoric times of a European pygmy race. Now, this part you need to pay attention to. Attention ought, however, to be called to the remarkable finds recently made in the Gata and des Enfants at Monteron, France. So now we're in France. I took you to Switzerland. I took you to Sicily, Italy. Now I'm taking you to Russia, and now I'm taking you to France. All of this is still Europe. A certain number of well-preserved skeletons are probably the earliest men who dwelt on the present land surface of Europe, which were found there, suggest that different racial stocks, perhaps in succession, have preceded the Aryan stock. Let me read this again. A certain number of well-preserved skeletons are probably the earliest men who dwelt on the present land surface of Europe, which is found there, suggests that the different racial stocks, probably in succession, have preceded the Aryan stock. And by the way, how you an Aryan? I don't get how the Caucasian call themselves an Aryan when Aryans come from India. But that's another case and a half. The first race, as indicated by two small negroid-looking skeletons of a woman, 1,580 millimeters, and of a boy, 1,540 millimeters, which is 60 to 63 inches in height, found in the lowest part of the grotto, was probably Ethiopian. Now, this is your people saying this. This is not written by a black man or a black person or Afrocentric. To come on, what is Afrocentric still? We already caught y'all stealing with the Aryan stuff. We know y'all not Aryans. You know what I'm saying? But this says right here, they got a pygmy grave site in France, a Monton, France to be exact, and with a woman and a man, with two women and a boy that are Ethiopian. Let's keep reading. So it's probably Ethiopian. The succeeding race was probably Mongolian, judging from the other remains around about the same grotto, especially in the Caucasian skeleton, which is distinctly Eskimo in appearance, only 1,500 mm. High discovered near Paris, France. The race succeeding this one was probably the one out of which our own Aryan race evolved. In relation to the pygmy theory, these recent finds are almost of utmost significance, but it's not talked about in y'all schools, right? You know what I'm saying? Because they was all there, you know what I'm saying? So when they talk about the St. Patrick's myth and all that stuff, like, get the hell up out of here. They've been found these bones. You know what I'm saying? Just because y'all trying to rewrite history with this DNA shit, trying to make, you know what I'm saying? Trying to prove y'all whack ass theories to be something. No, that's not gonna happen. But let's keep on going. In relation to the pygmy theory, we find the utmost significant. They confirmed Dr. Wild's earlier theory that the Neolithic races of Central Europe were not true pygmies. A people whose average stature does not exceed 4 feet 9 inches. And here's the book where he cites that Walter Tyson's Pygmy of the Ancients, London, 1894. Introduction. Furthermore, these finds show as available as any accurate days that no good reason for believing that European and therefore Celtic lands were once dominated by pygmies. Even after they are so remote that we can only calculate them in the tens of thousands of years. There you go. What you got to say now? This is your people saying that. Let me say it one more time. And furthermore, these finds show, as far as any available archaeological data can, that there was no good reason for believing that European and therefore Celtic lands were once dominated by pygmies, even in epochs so remote that we can only calculate them in tens of thousands of years. So when you come to me with that stuff about the British that did this to Ireland people in the potato famine, you're in the wrong part of history, bucko. I'm way, way back. You know what I'm saying? You a usurper on the land. You ain't nobody new. You just done, the British done to you what you done did to the damn pygmies there. So spare me your banality. Nevertheless, it's highly probable that a folk memory of the Lappish, Pictish, and other small but not true pygmy races has superly colored the modern fairy tale traditions of northern Scotland and of the western Herbitsides, where what may prove to be Lappians or Picts houses undoubtedly remain, of Northern Ireland, and of the Isle of Man, and slightly different, if indeed at all, the traditional fairy traditions of other parts of the Celtic world. This is from David McRitchie, The Testimony of Tradition, London, 1890. Also, too, sidebar right quick, David McRitchie got a lot of stuff on this. He was with the British Royal Anthropological Society, and everything he's been saying becoming true. Just look at Cheddar Man. And they trying to say, well, he had Negroid. No, they said he had Negroid features back then. That's y'all once again trying to change up history again to say y'all got some claim to some type of land that y'all don't belong into. Europe is named after Europa, an African princess. Well, I got to reiterate it again. It wasn't named after nobody off of Sweden or Switzerland from these white lands like that from Russia. Get the hell up out of here. In his own criticism for his own psychology theory in the Celtic Review, October 1909 and January 1910, entitled respectively, A New Solution to the Fairy Problem in the Druids and Mound Dwellers. Right? Because they got mounds over there in Europe too. Another thing we got to discuss on another video for another time. You sure as hell when y'all building them. Your people don't even build mounds or pyramids. Again, the very small flint implements frequently found in the Celtic lands and elsewhere have been very sensibly attributed to a long forgotten pygmy race. Though we must bear in mind in this connection that it would be very unwise to conclude the identity that no race save a small stature race could have made such implements. American breadmen were, and when discovered by European, and still are, this is about the 1800s, are making use of the 10-inch arrowheads, precisely the same size and design of those found in Celtic lands and attributed to pygmies. The use of small flint for purposes, arrows of shooting small game, like birds and spearing fish, and used in warfare as pointers and arrows, seem to have common to the most primitive people of normal stature. Contemporary pygmy race, so far removed in the Celtic lands, are also using them, and no doubt their prehistoric ancestors used them likewise. So there we go. They admitted that you know what I'm saying, they find Ethiopian pygmies in France and Switzerland, you know what I'm saying, in Ireland, in Sicily, in Russia. They saying that was the first race that occupied Europe, were black pygmies. Who the hell are you? You know what I'm saying? Just because, no, don't try to whitewash history to make it fit your advantages because you know you're trying to feel good about something. You were usurper in the land. You know what I'm saying? You was an invader. Not just there, all over the damn planet. We're going to keep it 100. And these pygmy people was first. So when you see people talk about, well, that's false and bringing up school, no, get the hell up. We got the stuff. We get their grandfather on them. You know what I'm saying? They great-grandmother and great-grandfather on them. Go back to the history books. And they got these bones. They still got them. You know what I'm saying? Every day, all day, we got to bang on this beast about our history. because they done stole too much. Stole too much. So when I hear about people saying, you know, Afrocentric still a thing, what the hell? You're not even an Aryan. Europe, you're in a land that you don't even, you know what I'm saying? You don't own. Europe was not even named after you. You came in the land as a savage. Still is a savage. Doing savage shit. So stop with the BS and stop with the
way before there was even.
Stop with the, you know, stop with the BS. Just stop with it. You know what I'm saying? Stop the madness. I understand. You know, you want to claim some type of history, something that you did, but only thing you got is destruction on this planet. You know,
Way before there was even.
Really shows one of your little whack holidays. You know, St. Patrick's Day, that y'all was doing the same thing. But I've had most of your holidays, vast majority of the holidays is about destruction of Black people. You know what I'm saying? So when they say dumb stuff like this, I just refer them back. And I just respond to cats like, you know, since y'all want to be famous, you know what I'm saying? Like Slim Anus, I'm going to make y'all famous and stuff like that. Since you want to be famous, you know. Trying to just keep on talking, you know. Since you want to be internet famous, let's just make it internet famous again. You know what I'm saying? Shut up. You know, as an Irish person, I find it extremely offensive and no truth to what you're saying at all. I done gave you 2 sites already that said that already. I can go and give you more. Because this is common knowledge. I done gave you 5 sites. I can cite Guy by Ritchie. I cited the British Royal Historical Society of Great Britain and England, and Great Britain and Ireland, excuse me. You know what I'm saying? I cited another guy, the fairy tale in Celtic country. You know what I'm saying? This guy right here, Carson 29. What a video full of inaccurate nonsense. Is there anything Afrocentrics won't try to steal? Well, you just got popped off again, bitch. You know what I'm saying? This made you famous. God damn it. Grandmaster Funk. This dude coming back with 50 replies. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna show them DNA, the stuff they had that came from North Africa. What you're doing is disservice to Irish and African people. No, bitch, what you're doing is disservice. Shut the fuck up and read a book. You know what I'm saying? And don't read that new age shit, because that DNA stuff, they ain't testing on everything these cats them falling up in here. A lot of this stuff is still stuck in basements down in museums. You know what I'm saying? And they trying to hide and he held this shit. Always bang on this beast daily about African culture, about African history. I don't have nothing to spare on them. I got some more cats I got to come up with the bang on, but you know, this is right here going to be enough for it, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, people want to be people. And I understand that, but don't come with me and that shit. I'm going to roast your ass. This is a Coach Get Funny saying, you know, I know this ain't my cliche, my mark, but this is a dude, you know, really kind of want to do is set it off. You know, he's still doing this thing on the internet. You know, you bang on that beast daily. You know what I'm saying? Because they know these young bucks might try to pull some high-speed scam, but hey, you take them back to, like he said, like my man told me that said bang on the beast daily, you take them back to their granddaddies, take them back to Herodotus. You know what I'm saying? Take them back to these British Royal Societies and institutes and stuff like that in Ireland and England and Australia, you know what I'm saying? Take them to the Smithsonian and see what happened then, see what they say. And watch motherfuckers' mouths drop. This is a Coach Kid Funny saying peace. One love to you and yours. Hey, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.